Um, Thank you so much for being here today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. This is going to be so much fun.
I think I met you when you first got your pro card, and we did the NPC Universe. You were doing interviews for NPC News Online.
Yeah. My gosh, that was a while ago, huh?
Mm.
Crazy.
And since then, you've won 47 IFBB Pro League bikini titles, 3 Olympias. Not bad, huh?
Yeah. Exceeded my expectations because when I first turned pro, my goal was just to win one pro show. And I was like, if I can make it to Olympia one day, maybe win one pro show, get there. I thought that would be the pinnacle of the career. And it's like, wow, I exceeded that expectation. So
It's honestly, it's absolutely amazing because if you think about the level of competition and the amount of competitors since you started and since now, it just shows how you've evolved and how you've actually exceeded what would be, the level of competition now. It's just amazing. So,
yeah.
I mean, kudos to you. I talk to all the bodybuilders, and they're like, "I'll never win as many titles as Ashley."
Well, to be fair, I always give the disclaimer it is much harder as a bodybuilder to win that many shows. So I always clarify that because I get it, I get it. I see how hard they train and how long it takes to get there. And preps are much more rigorous as a bodybuilder. So they can have their own little category, but I'm happy to represent the bikini. So
Well, you are an inspiration to anyone who's ever stepped on stage because, like basketball, you would say, "Oh, Michael Jordan," but before Michael Jordan, there were, you had Magic Johnson and you have all these legends. But when it comes to the infancy and what bikini is in the NPC and IFBB Pro League, you are the pinnacle of success
thank you.
for which, I mean, you set records that I don't know when or how they're ever going to be broken. I mean, that's a lot of shows to prep for.
Yeah, it is, but you know what? It makes it much more, I guess, doable when I love what I do. So they say if you enjoy your work, you never work a day in your life. It's kind of like this. Like, I think me being a previous athlete, in college, I was a track
Hmm.
athlete. I ran the 400-meter hurdles. And I'm just thinking, like, every weekend, we would run a track meet. I would run 400-meter hurdles. I would practice, 6 days a week, sometimes twice a day, and I would practice so hard till I threw up, like during
Wow.
track. Those 400-meter repeats were brutal. So I always like look back in that, and I'm like, I'm glad I went through that because it taught me to be tough. And now when I do bikini, it's like, that's not so bad, dieting and training because at least I'm not throwing up on the track. So
Well, I mean, look, people do a couple of shows and they're like, wow, I'm done. So I can't do another one. I'm like, I got to take a break. But your consistency is what is, I mean, and staying consistent at that level is just amazing because, like you said, bodybuilders, okay, it might be tougher prep, but still, I wouldn't take away from the training because I've been to many, many gyms where bikini competitors train harder than men's bodybuilders. So, and I'll just go, I'll say that right off the bat. But, yeah, I mean, so in my mind, I see 90.
90.
I see 90.
Wow, that's ambitious. I'll try for it. Let's get 50 first, and then I'll go on to the next. But that's quite ambitious. I'll try now.
I see 90. So you're with HiTech, right? And they make very innovative products for the fitness enthusiasts and people of all types and fitness levels. So, what is your secret? Do you want to even let us know what your secret Ashley Kaltwasser stack is for the products that you take with HiTech?
Yeah. So you know what I've been loving lately is their Sport.
Mhm.
It's like a fat burner focus aid, and it really just keeps me like consistently energized throughout the day so I can get through a good workout, especially when I'm close to a show. Sometimes my energy's not the best. So I've been loving the Sport. But to be honest, like I'll switch from that and I'll switch between their other like thermogenics as well, just to spice things up and to, it ultimately it depends on how much energy I need for that day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'll also do the jacked up pre-workout. I love it.
Aha!
So good.
Jacked up. Now we got.
Yeah. Good stuff. And then, of course, my precision protein. I like the Neapolitan ice cream flavor. It's really good, and it tastes good in like oatmeal. So I'm addicted to that.
So you always, like, you know, if you watch your Instagram page or you watch your interviews, you're always high energy. Um, and I don't know if people know this, but you have an incredible fitness background. I've seen you do flips and
Mhm.
and the worm across the field,
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff. Like, did you get started at a very young age?
Yeah, so I was a gymnast when I was a child. And you know what's interesting is I find that a lot of people were, gymnasts or had
Yeah.
some background like that when they were younger. But somehow as an adult, they lose it. And I'm not sure the science behind it. Maybe it's
Mm.
just fear of hurting yourself. I'm not sure. But I haven't done it since I was like maybe 10 or 11,
Oh, wow.
but for some reason, I was able to keep those skills. I don't know how, but I can still walk on my hands. I can still backflip, and I don't even practice for it. I just kind of do it. So I'll let you do with that what you will, but so no
Well, I mean,
anything.
you're qualified for life for the Olympia once you win the title, so you can do a fitness
Oh
Olympia if
God.
you ever wanted to. You have to qualify.
I them and I'm like, that must be so difficult to be like depleted and then also have to do a high energy
Uh,
routine when you're like
I,
crap. I gotta
get-
give it to the ladies. It's tough.
I give nothing respect to them. I've watched them come off stage, and I'm sure you have backstage at the Olympia, and you're like, wow, that wasn't as easy as they made it look when they come off. They're like, oof, they're done. So,
Yeah,
oof.
yeah. And their routine
Oh,
gotten so elaborate. I've noticed throughout the years, like just with every, division, it gets more evolved. But man, they are just so like impressive, their routines. So I'm at the point where I'm like, I don't know if I can do that kind of stuff. I can tumble. Their strength movements are crazy though. I don't know if I could do that
I
anymore.
think I think you could do it, but but we have a question. How many times a day do you take protein? So you're using a precision protein from HiTech, right? So what are the flavors and what kind of and how many times a day do you take it and when?
I usually take it twice a day, but that can also vary, how
Hmm.
close I am to or not, or my needs in general. But I'll usually do it twice a day. One will be like in my coffee. Actually, that's when I use the vanilla flavored precision
Ah,
protein. Put that in my coffee. It's a great alternative to a creamer, and it tastes way
oh,
better. And
cool.
I will also use it post workout, usually in my oats or my cream of rice, and just mix it in. It tastes like a dessert. So yeah, but it depends on the year too, because if it's like let's say it's really hot outside and I'm just like I just want something really cold and
Yeah.
refreshing, that I'll put a banana with it in the blender too, so that
Well,
works.
it's nice to have the versatility, right? Sometimes you can only have it one way. I always make mine in a cereal.
Oh,
I always make
that's good.
it too. So
Yeah,
I feel like I'm eating something.
yeah.
But so as far as the cognitive stuff, now when would you take that? Before workout or early in the morning, empty stomach?
I usually take that in the morning, right before my first meal. I don't like it to take it too late, just in case like it keeps me up too much, which it hasn't before. But I
Mhm.
always err on caution, so I'll take that in the morning, and it usually gets me through the day. And I definitely notice a difference whether I take it or whether I don't on the days I don't. So it's definitely been a helpful tool, especially when I'm, a little less energy. So it's been very, very useful.
I have on the side here about, I don't know, 300 DM questions. I'll just go through some
Oh,
of them for you. I have 300, but somebody wants to know how much cardio do you do during prep? I mean, you've got 16 weeks for the Olympia, and I could look at your shoulders are jacked, and you look like you're ready now. So I mean, so let's just say, let's put it in different perspective. Let's say you weren't in your best shape and you were starting 16 weeks out. How much cardio would you start with?
so usually start with when I start prep, I'll start with one session per week, and I'll usually do like either a half an hour step mel, or I've actually been doing like Orange Theory Fitness for
Oh,
cardio sometimes too. Just
wow. That's cool.
yeah, just to make it interesting, because doing the same cardio over and over gets boring. So I'll usually start with one session a week, and then second week two, three, four, and I just raise it as I need. But luckily I'm in a spot now where I'm not doing any cardio, so once I do get to that spot, I either taper off the cardio or stop it, depending on the show scenario. So it's it's tricky trying to figure out how lean is too lean, how too soft. So in bikini, it's like, you know, you don't want to get too lean. So I always got to be careful with that because sometimes when I compete often,
Hmm.
my, you know, I just start to burn calories like crazy, I feel like. So that's when I back off the cardio. So currently not doing any cardio.
I mean, you've been with the same trainer, right, for a while now?
Yeah.
So does it drive you nuts? Because it does to me sometimes when people are like, oh, you should do this. And you're like, well, you should do more cardio. I mean, some people don't do cardio at all, and some people do 3 hours a day, morning, afternoon, night. And you're like, does it ever like slip out like, I've won 47 pro shows
You
and
know
three
what?
Olympias?
It is really frustrating when people
Yeah.
start to prep because it's like, listen, if there's a person that knows their body best, that would be me. I
Yeah.
lived it a life, and this is not my first rodeo. I know what I'm doing here, but yeah, I. But I think more so than any, people will give me so much crap for staying a little bit leaner in the off season in comparison to most. And I'll, you know, my weight will fluctuate 10 to 12 pounds in the off season. I get so much crap for that. They think, oh my God, you know, that's so unhealthy. You're staying leaner in the off season. I'm like, dude, in track, we didn't have an off season. We didn't get to fluctuate even by 10 pounds. So for me, I get that so much. It's so annoying. And it's like, we don't need to put on like 30 pounds. Like I'm a
No.
small, I don't need to put on 30 pounds in the off season. We don't need to bulk like bodybuilders. It doesn't translate the same way.
Uh, I'm glad you said that because if you look at the trajectory of your career and look at, you're always in shape. And I think as a fitness professional, as someone who inspires other people, you shouldn't come into the gym and look like, you know, uh, a 60, 70 pound overweight version of yourself and just tell everybody you're off season.
Yeah.
Because how is that, creating, a good healthy lifestyle for people, or you know what I'm like, you're supposed to like give people advice, and now here you are, the only time you're ever in shape is on stage, but for the rest of the year, I don't want to say fat, but but you don't look like the person that was on stage. And I think that people have a misconception, and it used to be way back when people have to get really overweight to put mass on, because you've made very, very like good, like your shoulders have gotten better, like you've
Mhm.
made good, yeah, I mean, you've done a lot, you've leveled up with your physique without having to blow up like a blowfish.
Yeah.
So it's like
There's like it's such a twisted way to think about it. It's almost like if you don't put on a whole bunch of weight in the off season, that's
yeah,
unhealthy. But if you stay within, for me, 10 to 12 pounds, and that's me as I go on stage at like 123, 124. So I'm a smaller girl. I'm not, you know, it's not like I'm 6 foot and 200 pounds. So staying
yeah,
in that 12-pound range, I get so much crap for that. I'm just like, do you understand how twisted that way of thinking is?
I
So
don't get it.
you know, I mean, listen, I get that it's not the best to say stage lean all year round, and I'm not. I'm like I said, my
Yeah,
off are 10 to 12 pounds, which is a reasonable amount, but it's not like it's not like I'm like striated
yeah,
or anything, you know.
yeah.
I would say off season's more like regular fit girl look, and like when I'm contest prepping, it's like impressive fit girl look. So just that I don't want to go into the gym looking like I've never worked out. Like I want to look the part. I'm an
Right.
athlete 165 days a year, not just when I compete, you know?
Well, it makes sense too, because if a company calls you and they're like, oh, Ashley, we want you to be the face of this company, and you show up looking like, you've never,
Yeah.
you've spent more time in an ice cream truck than in the gym in the last couple of weeks. It's like, how is that, how is that supposed to represent you as a brand, as your own brand,
Yeah,
inspiring people? So I get it. Also, someone wants to know if you take protein all year round.
I do. Yeah, I love protein. I think it's a great additive to like all the foods we mentioned, like even
Yeah.
yogurt. And sometimes I found it to be very useful in even just flavoring foods in general. So I'm taking protein all the time.
Protein powders to HiTech all through the entire year.
Yes,
Yeah. Oh,
yes.
that's
It's like
awesome.
a day or something like that, or a few days before show day, I'll stop it. But yeah,
So
basically,
now, we have the 60th anniversary of the Mr. Olympia, and I'm sure you'll be there.
yeah,
You've qualified numerous times already, and you were pre-qualified when you won the Olympia
yeah,
numerous times.
definitely.
So is it so I like do you look at other pictures like past years of yourself and be like, Do I need to improve this? Or do you look at other people and say, do I need to improve this to beat them?
You know, it's a little bit of a mix of both, but I
Mm-hmm.
just feedback too, of course. But as you said in the beginning of this interview, the sport has evolved so much. So I have
Yeah,
to keep up with the standards, because if I show up the same way I showed up in 2015 when I won the Olympia, guess what? I wouldn't even be first call out at the Olympia, you know? So
right.
it's definitely evolved, and I got to keep up with the standards, of course. So that means getting a little bit, you know, more muscle up top,
Mm-hmm.
you know, getting a bit rounder, a bit fuller. So I just try to go with the trends of the year and just see how far my body can take me with what the current standards are.
Is it easier for you to get leaner or to put muscle on?
It's easier for me to get
Or is
leaner,
it?
but you know what? It's probably 50-50. Um, I would say it's easier for me to stay lean
Yeah.
than to, I'm not leaner. Like once I get to that point, I can maintain for a long time, no problem. But it's probably equal. I'm not sure, you know. That's a good question. I've never gotten asked that before. It's probably 50-50.
After all, after 47, I'm good. Well, great. Good job, Frank. Is there anybody's physique that you look at, maybe in professional sports or bikini or whatever it is that you're like, wow, I like their physique. I don't know if you necessarily want to look like them, but you kind of respect the way that they
You
look.
know, I'm going to be a little biased because, like I said, I was a track
Sure.
athlete. I love the look of the sprinter. So one day, whenever I'm not competing anymore, I don't mind having a runner's body. I once was, so I'm kind of biased to that. But I love like sprinters. They're incredible. Like,
Yeah.
you know, good
They
ham.
have the best hamstrings, glutes, and
Mm.
it's also, yeah, the sprinters and the speed
Oh yeah,
skaters. You ever see a speed skater that have crazy hamstrings and glutes?
yeah.
So you know, look, I'm sure you can, you could go into another sport after this if you wanted to, if you put your
Oh,
mind to it. Is there, like, going back in the past, what was the most out of, I mean, all of the shows that you've competed in, the most memorable? Where sometimes you have some people have self doubt, um, and even if they win shows, they always have that little bit of doubt. And is there a time or a show that you were like, wow, I kind of I did it. This is I'm not that I belong here, but wow, I've accomplished this, and you
mhm.
know I'm the best without being egotistical.
Yeah, that would definitely be my first Olympia win in
Oh,
2013 because I was
wow.
such an underdog and I genuinely was just happy to be there. Like I went in without expectations. I went in like almost fangirling these girls that I've seen on the fitness magazines, and they had all the nice sponsorships, and you know, of course they were top Olympians. I went in like such a fangirl, like just honored to literally share the stage with them. And you know, I when I got done with prejudging, even then I got first call out, but I didn't even think it was first call out because I was like, "There's no way I got first call out." I think they're doing it in reverse this time. They're doing something new,
Yeah.
like you know, because everyone was congratulating me. Oh my gosh, you got first call out, and there's 3 girls in that call out. I'm like, I don't know, guys. This is a little too good to be true. I wouldn't be surprised if this was just in reverse. You know, trying to keep the crowd entertained, trying to throw some curveballs and surprise everyone. But it hit whenever they were. You know, they do it in reverse at the Olympia, right? And they do fifth place, fourth place, and when they call it third place, I'm like, wait a minute, that girl's in my call out. Wait a second. And then they called second. I'm like, no way. And then and I was like shocked. I like broke down in tears because I had no expectations for myself. No one knew who I was. I was the biggest underdog ever. And I somehow managed to pull it off. So to this day, that was the best moment on stage.
And then 10 years later, here you are, and still at the top of your game, winning shows. And like, don't you feel though, like age doesn't matter anymore? I just feel like you get in your late 20s, your 30s, even your early 40s. I think you get better and better. Like if people went and lined up and they didn't tell you how old they were, some of these people, competitors, like if you look at Kamal, he's in his 50s and he's killing it. Like you look at all these competitors, I think you build more quality muscle. And that's what I tell people. Everyone is in such a hurry. I have people come to me in tears, like, I did 2 shows and I didn't get my pro card. It's like, you're 20 years old. Go in there. So do you feel like your physique has progressively gotten better, and do you think you can even get it better than, because sometimes bodybuilders call it quits. They'll be 30 years old and they'll be like, I just can't do it anymore, man.
Mm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so is there like, do you feel like you could easily get better as you go on? Because I think 90 is the number. I'm throwing it out there.
Well,
90 is the number.
to answer your second question, I do think I'm getting better each year a little bit. Now,
Mhm.
a lot of people might not notice that because I compete so much. So of course you're not going to see show to show to show like improvement like that, because
Yeah.
I'll compete week to week to week sometimes. So you might not see that. But when I pull up my pictures from every single year, there's no denying, like, this is 2013,
Hmm.
14, 15. I've gotten better every year, except for the year I didn't compete, 2017, didn't get better that year. But every other year, I got better. So, yes. And to answer the other question about being better with age, you know something? I think that this sport has gotten so competitive and the talent pool so deep, it's a disadvantage to be 20 something, you know?
Yeah,
If
I agree.
I would say you're likely to have a better result late 20s, early 30s than early 20s. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not certain on the stats, but if you look at like the Olympia, you know, you might be really, it might be hard to find those early 20-year-olds. You know, you're more likely to find later 20-year-olds just because the development takes so much time. And even when you do get the muscle development, the precision you need for what muscle where to refine your physique to its final form. So it does take a long time these days. Gone are the days when you would expect the girls winning like the pro shows to be like 19, 20.
Yeah,
Not saying that can't happen, but it's more likely to be an older individual.
I agree with you. I just think too, there's a lot more that goes into it too, and the degree of separation between first place, second place, and third at the Olympia has got to be like 1 or 2%. So if you can't hit your mark that day, it's no indication too that, oh my God, you've lost it. It's so tight in between each, and plus also the stage confidence presentation goes in goes very, very far. Because I've seen competitors who walk on stage who are very egotistical, they don't smile, they don't have a good presence about them. And you immediately, and I was a judge for years, you immediately look over to the next person because, I mean, you're there to present your physique and they're not posing right and they look like they have an attitude and
Mm,
and like they come in fourth or fifth and they got the face and they do the spin around, like, and it's like there's a lot of nuances to learn when you're on stage, and the only way to do that is to compete, and people don't understand that. It's,
absolutely.
as far as your posing, Ashley, like how has that progressed over the years, and what do you do? Is somebody on my list of questions here is how often do you pose, and who are you self-taught or you had a coach?
So usually I'll do some group posing with my teammates, like once a week or so. When I'm competing very frequently, though, I'll just kind of use the stage as the practice. But I do like to, practice on my own, even just like at home when I'm not doing anything. Like I'll just throw on my heels while I watch TV and just, get some rounds in just to keep it nice and fresh. As far as like the posing too, that's another thing that like is always kind of evolving. So it's something you have to be up to date on.
Yeah.
And with competing frequently, I always tell people this: there is no practice like the actual stage. You can practice in front of your iPhone, your mirror, even your coach all day. But once you get on stage, it's a different feeling because the nerves take over. And
Oh well.
times, the nerves do weird things and you forget certain things. So I think the best practice is the actual stage.
Andre Ferguson said he'll pose in a puddle,
Oh,
looking in a puddle or a car window as he passes by. Or if he hears the song in the car, he'll just kind
oh,
of write it down, like make a mental note of it or what have you. But yeah, I think look, there's a lot more that goes into this, and there is a big difference between an NPC level and the Olympia level. And I think a lot of people don't understand that because they're looking at pictures on Instagram. So they're looking at filtered pictures, but you know, you have to give people respect who obviously have competed as a top professional and have competed on the Olympia level. And sometimes people are like, oh, I could beat them. Oh, I could beat them, or I could beat them, or I got them. They just don't understand. Like, there's a huge difference. And like when you say bikini competitor, it's like, oh yeah, well she was in the now she's doing the Olympia. It doesn't work like that. There's an extra level to get to that and you would know because like like you said, you've come since 2013, like 2013 you in the Olympia. You're like, do I even belong here? Wait, I'm in the first, I'm second, I'm third. But I mean, look, how important are supplements? That's another question we have. How important are supplements to you? I know you obviously you take HiTech, so someone wants to know, do I need supplements?
I mean, they're definitely going to be helpful. They're not going to replace like hard work though. That, let's be honest, you can't just take a Cogna Sport and expect to get shredded. You got to put in the work too. But just know that the supplements, they're going to help you do the job. So especially like I referred to previously, especially in prep, maybe you don't have the best energy, a little sleep deprived, maybe you didn't have enough food to eat. I don't know. But sometimes you need that little boost of energy. So whether that be pre-workout or a thermogenic, it's definitely helpful. And, it definitely is that little boost of energy you need sometimes.
Well, we got Ashley. If you can recommend one supplement, what would it be?
I'm fond of the protein powder. I like
Yeah,
precision.
me too.
It's so good. So it's kind of like, if I were to pick one, that would be it.
Protein powder is like toothpaste. It's just something you use daily. I mean, it's just not a question if you're going
Yep.
to use it. Since I started training at, I don't know, 13, 14, use
Mhm.
protein powder. I don't know if maybe 3 days out of the last, I don't know how many years I have had protein powder. But yeah, so, and also somebody wants to know about the Jacked.
Mhm.
Jacked.
Um,
They want to know about the Jacked supplement.
Sure, yeah. It's a pre-workout, and I usually take it like 30 minutes before I go out and train and put a little ice in it, especially now that's really hot outside. But it's one of those things that's going to get you through a workout, help you pump out a little bit, keep you nice and focused, and making sure you can make the most of that hard work.
Wow. Somebody wants to know also, how many days a week do you train in prep?
So I will do ideally 6 days a week, but sometimes it's more like 5. If I'm like doing like a bunch of shows, show to show to show, likely unable to get 6 workouts in. Sometimes it's 5, but I try. So I would say safely about 6.
6. And obviously, the next question is going to be to follow up. How do you split up your days?
Oh yeah, I will do one leg day, which will get some glutes in there just by default. So leg day, shoulder, back, arms, glute focused day, and then usually another shoulder day as well, because that's what I need to work on the most. So that's for me anyway. I don't really train abs. I don't train forearms or
Wow.
traps or chest. So we don't have to worry about those.
So you don't so you don't do specific ab exercises. A lot of people that I've interviewed lately say the same thing. They're like, I do tricep push downs and I tense my abs. So you don't do any direct ab workout?
No, because for me, that's already a pretty muscle dominant area. Like I've always had abs. As long as I'm lean, I'll have abs. And what happens is if I overtrain them, they're going to get kind of 3D. For a bikini, you don't want like abs that project out like building blocks.
Yeah.
They need nice and smooth and tone, but not turtle shell abs, I guess is what you'd call it, right? Where you
So
can count.
you want the slim, not the Ninja Turtle.
Yeah,
You don't want
yeah,
the Ninja Turtle
yeah.
belly. Well, that's usually in some bodybuilders, but yeah, that's thick waisted. Now, are you someone who does like a ridiculous amount of weight with the hip thrusts? Because now that's the trend now in the gym. Every time I go in there now, it's so funny. Like women are way stronger than men now. Every time I go in the gym, they're like, I see women like 5'6", 45-pound plates on a hip thrust. I'm like squatting 315. I'm like, wow, I'm getting old. Everybody's getting stronger than me. I'm like, this is crazy.
So I don't do like super heavyweight like that. I'm more of a like, I want to feel the movement from top to bottom and make it nice, slow, and controlled. Sometimes I'll
Yeah.
do explosive movements, but I'm never really maxing out or anything like that. I don't really have a desire to do that. And yeah, I don't know. It's definitely keeping me injury free that way. So I'll take it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And consistency too. A lot of people getting hurt over doing stupid things that they see on, on social media. We have 17 people just said, "Dude, what do you drink? What do you use for energy?" We just said jacked, right? And the cognitive stuff.
Cognizant.
Yep. Okay, cool. Yeah. So you missed out on it. And she has coffee and she puts the HiTech vanilla. It's like a creamer in there. So you can also use that. What's the website for HiTech? The website?
It should be hitechpharma.com.
Mm-hmm. It'll be in the
Hitechpharmaceuticals.com.
caption.
It will come up. HiTech Pharma.
Yeah, it'll be in the caption too when we wrap this up, and this reel will be everywhere on our social media. So tell me about the 60th anniversary of the Olympia. Are you looking forward to it? I mean, we're back in Vegas, right? I mean, it's going to be an incredible event. There's a press conference this week in Vegas.
I'll be there.
Yes. So, I mean, let's talk about that. What it would mean if you win your fourth
That would
with that.
be the craziest comeback ever if I won. Because here's the thing, I've been in the mix. Like I was third place for the past 3 years. I'm in the mix. So I don't know if it's ever been done like 10 years later, more than 10 years later, right? No. 9 years later, I guess, for my last one, because I won my 2013, 14, and 15. But that would be a crazy comeback. I'm definitely going to try. You know, it's always on my mind. I know my goal is to hit 50 shows this year, win 50 wins this year for my shows, but I still have my eye on that Olympia, and I would love to get that back. That would be the craziest story ever. That would be insane. But yeah, I actually live in Vegas now too, so that helps. Nice hometown, so very convenient for me.
Well, think about this. Jay Cutler, since he went into the Olympia, his first time against Ronnie Coleman, it took him 8 years to beat Ronnie Coleman,
Oh, really?
right? Like, think about it. He hung in there. So, and then Ryan Terry has been competing for 9 years before he actually won the Olympia. So, you maybe do.
He could do. That would be great. I would be so excited about that. That would be crazy.
Look, people, I've got my eye on social media all the time for all the channels and stuff, and people really, get behind certain people because of their attitude and because of the way that they present themselves. And I think you have a huge fan base out there who would like to see you win your fourth. No other bikini competitors won three. So
I oh,
no, you.
oh
I'm
okay.
saying besides you. Yeah, I know you've won three. I've won three. I know. I'm saying you've won three. So I mean, if Jennifer wins, right, it'll be her third.
Mm-hmm.
So and she'll so you have to beat Jennifer so she doesn't get the third to tie you and you get
Yeah,
a fourth.
she's a tough one. She's a tough one. She's also big too, so
They're all it's honestly this you can rattle off 10 names right now that could possibly win the show, right? I mean, Laura Lee Chapato, like you can go on and on and on. It's just, and the one year Maureen won, no one was expecting her to win.
mm-hmm.
So to say that you wouldn't, would be, I don't think it'd be strange at all if you came home with the title, the fourth title at all.
I wouldn't say strange. It would be surprising, but then again, like explained, everything's surprising. Like everything's going to be, anybody that wins, people will always be either shocked or just like, whoa, this person came out of the blue. So yeah, crazier things have happened.
Yeah.
I feel good here though,
You,
and
you manifest it, but honestly, with social media, 50% of the people happy, 50% hate you because they like, they're fans of somebody else. So you can't win anyway. So what's the difference? Just take it as it comes. But as far as like the bikini division and how it's progressed, is there anything you would like to see different in the sport? Or are you cool with how everything's going?
no, I'm actually, I don't think it could be any better.
I don't think
I
so
think it's great.
either.
There's so many shows to pick from now, especially in bikini. And it's like, where do I want to travel to? Where do I want to compete at? You know, I think this sport has given me the opportunity to do so many incredible things. So many opportunities have opened up. So I'm very grateful for it. So I'm not complaining. I think everything's fine and dandy.
I think, you know, I agree with you. The way watching and how it's progressed over the last decade and what the Mannion family's done and IFBB Pro League to, you know, make this a huge division. I mean, any show that you go, NPC show, it's predominantly bikini and men's physique.
Mm-hmm.
Without it, forget it. Now people are jumping into the classic physique, which is great. You know, Chris Bumstead and Ramon Dino and Urs are like becoming the celebrity competitors of the entire industry now. People are following, which is great because you like to see new people come in the sport, new divisions and stuff. But I agree with you. I think the like international is incredible, and the you know, the Olympia just keeps getting better and better. Talk about that stage when you first got on that Olympia stage a couple of years ago, like whew, in Orlando, it was like 500, like $1 million stage or whatever it was. It was insane. As opposed to think about years before that, you were on just like, you know, not it's just not that level, but it just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, just when you think it can't get any better, it does. So I can't wait to see what this year's stage brings. It's going to be so epic. And at the new location, too. I'm so excited.
I heard they're gonna drop you down like a rock concert onto the stage.
Are they I wear heels?
Well, you're probably one of the only people that could do a flip on the way out of it and land on your heels. But as far as, so we have hit you with a couple of more quick questions. Again, people wanted to know exactly what supplements you take in a day. So, do you want
I will do the Cognisport usually in the morning,
to?
but sometimes switch that out for something maybe more mild, like the caffeine powder, or something
Hmm.
like the Life with Adrenal Elite, depending on like what tasks I have to do for the day. Do I need extra energy? Am I feeling extra,
Yep.
tired? So that will all depend. Usually I will, get my pre-workout consisting of the Jacked Up. Sometimes I'll throw that creatine in there as well. Usually more than not, I will put creatine in there. I just kind of eliminate that like last week till show. And then I will recover with some precision protein. I like the Neapolitan flavor the best, but vanilla is the most versatile. So I tend to keep that always in stock with the 5-pounder because I'm always using that because it goes really well with smoothies. It goes well with oatmeal or yogurt or anything like that. And I use their vitamins as well. So they also make vitamins like vitamin D, vitamin C. So I'm making sure I'm getting all my vitamins in.
So now my follow-up question is creatine. So now there's a big thing, like a lot of women don't take creatine because they think they're gonna get bloated. Obviously, you're not bloated. So how long have you been taking
I've
creatine?
I've been taking creatine for like years.
Wow.
I actually remember a time when I didn't take it. You know,
Oh,
like I said though, it depends on like the time frame if I'd use it or not. But throughout the year, I've been taking it for years, for years. I
wow.
noticed it even like just with my pumps though, like it's a more solid pump. So it definitely helped.
Somebody wants to know how many cups of coffee you have every
Oh,
day.
oh God, one or two. Um, well, because it's like if I'm already taking like my Cognisport, it already gives me like energy for that, or my caffeine powder, I already have the energy for that. So if it's an extra strenuous day, I might have 2 cups, but usually it's just one.
Somebody just wrote in, does pre-workout give you anxiety or an energy? If anything gives you anxiety, then you shouldn't do it. But I don't know what they're
Yeah,
talking.
I have not experienced any anxiety. I just get energy. So I
Yeah,
guess we're all
I've never gotten anxiety from a cup of coffee either, so I don't know. But if you do, don't do
yeah,
it. When the
exactly.
pan's hot, you don't touch it.
Exactly.
So it's kind of, if any that goes with any supplements. But that's it. It's interesting because you're probably one of the first women said they take creatine because there's been a big taboo. I don't take creatine; it gets bloated. That's interesting. Wow.
Well, I mean, even if you were to get bloated, it goes away once you stop taking it. Like it's not permanent.
Yeah, right. Or do cardio and sweat. How about that?
Yeah, there.
Either way, right? Do you cut out the protein powder a week before the contest?
Yeah, usually like, well, sometimes lately it's just been a few days before, but just to play it safe, does it really help or not? I don't know. I just do I have like a little routine I've been sticking to, like my just in case, you know, but it shouldn't really affect it that much either way, but I do it just to play it safe. I usually just try to eliminate sweeteners and stuff altogether a few days before. So
Someone asked, does HiTech have something like shed water, some sort of like diuretic?
they have they own many brands, as you know. So they have other companies that do have the water shedding products.
Mm.
I think it's called Arv, and it's by FN Nutrition, but it's owned by HiTech. So not technically HiTech, but within the HiTech family of brands.
Oh, okay. See, there's your question. So you're getting a lot of goats.
Oh,
You're getting a lot of hearts. Anything. And talk about lastly, someone wants to know who coaches you.
oh, it's Adam Bonilla from Team Elite Physique. He's been coaching me since 2018, and he's a keeper. So we've been working together ever since, and I really like his style of coaching. You know, we're very synonymous with each other. Like he's always at my shows. I do the podcast with him every
Sure.
Monday. So we're a good dynamic duo there.
You know, it's funny. A lot of people blame their coach when they don't win, but they don't celebrate them when they do win. So
That's
it's like they're going to a show and it's like, oh, I lost. Oh, my coach told me to do this. Now I got to find another coach.
oh,
You know, it's like you got to stick with one voice, right? All this time. And look, 47 pro wins and 3 Olympia titles, Arnold titles. Like, you know, you're not going to win every show. No one will.
right.
No one, no one will. It's just a matter of, because like I said, it's a 1% difference now between first and second or how you feel that day. So many, as you know, so many things could happen, cortisol levels, stress, what have you. It's not,
Absolutely, especially in bikini. You know, it's a little more diverse. You know,
yeah,
with bodybuilding, it's a little more cut and dry, and you kind of know. But bikini, it's a little more, you know, diverse. Like I said, many different body types can thrive in bikini, which makes it amazing. You know, if you see the Olympia top 10, you could probably find someone with a similar, at least, structure to you. Whereas in bodybuilding, it's kind of like, this is what we want.
yeah,
So
exactly. All right, cool. So we're gonna give you the last. I'll give you the last word, Ashley. So anybody, obviously HiTech. We're gonna have it in the caption. Get all your supplements, and maybe you'll win 47 pro shows and 3 Olympias if you take HiTech, or maybe you won't.
mm, yeah, they're so good to me. Like their products are amazing, like I said, and they are very supportive of me on my career path as well. So we can't forget that they're great, and I love that they're so in tune to our industry. You know,
Yeah.
they're very, like bodybuilder friendly, I guess you could say. So you know, they've been sponsoring Olympia live streams and stuff like that. So I thank them for that, and my coach, Adam Bonilla, Team Elite Physique, and you know, my other sponsors such as Trifecta, Angel Competition Bikinis, Liquid Sunrays. Can't forget about them. So yeah, I'm very well taken care of, and I'm, you know, very grateful for all the support and help and opportunities I've gotten. So
Well, it's important to have a reputable company. You know, if you're going to take supplements, you want to make sure that they're based in science and they're a reputable company. And so, if anyone out there is interested, and I'm sure you are, with HiTech Pharmaceuticals, look down in the caption, and we'll have the website and Instagram page there. And then you can see Ashley at the 2024 Olympia in Vegas on stage, and hopefully she'll be there for her 4th Olympia victory. We'll have our fingers crossed. I'm going to go on a limb and say 90 wins.
I love it. All right, I'm gonna try it.
90 wins.
Wow.
And everyone down there, stop saying Hadi Chopin. She's not competing against Hadi. Hadi's got a lot of fans out there. She's not going against Hadi.
Not
Believe me, she's a fan of Hadi too.
that,
And for people who want to follow you on Instagram, what's the
it's
Instagram? All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you at the Olympia.
Bye.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thanks, Ashley.
Thank you.
Uh, bye.